Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Harris County Board of Commissioners are now in session.
Thank you. Please stand for the pledge and prayer. I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful, beautiful day that we have. It's just a blessing that we can have such a nice day in February. We thank you so much for that. We thank you for who you are. We thank you for your just leadership and guidance, and lead us and guide us today, but lead us and guide us every day. Be with us as we make decisions. Be with the state legislature as they make decisions, and they're coming to the end of their session, and they need your help and guidance daily. And be with Congress and the President and help them to truly try to work for the citizens of this great country that we live in. And it's in your Son's name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Do we have any special announcements or recognitions? I don't believe so. Approval of previous meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. Next, we'll go into departmental business and reports. First up is our highway, Ms. Amber Dole. Hello, Amber.
Good evening. I do have a handout for you guys real quick. Just wanted to explain our,
Thank you.
just wanted to explain our equipment purchasing for 2026. So I presented this at council last month because I did request an additional appropriation for our equipment purchases for 2026. This was a two-part request. The first part was we had three items of equipment that we were planning on purchasing in 2025. They did not come in until 2026, so we had to kind of shift that money into 26 to use it. And then we also wanted to appropriate an additional almost $140,000 for 2026 equipment purchases. So if you look at the bottom half of that sheet that I just handed out, we have two pieces of equipment that we would like to purchase in 2026, plus save room for a little bit of miscellaneous purchasing of little pieces of equipment that we might need. The first one was actually the John Deere mower that we came to the commissioners in December to get pre-authorization to go ahead and purchase that and hold that quote. That has actually come in, and we have paid for that. The other item that I would like to request purchase of today would be a single axle Freightliner truck. And this is at a cost of $190,100. And this is just to continue with our truck replacement program that we've set forth with. We've done a pretty extensive job in the last couple years now that we've got equipment actually available for us. So we're trying to kind of chip away at those old vehicles, and we're making some headway now. So today's request is I would like to request for the purchase of a 2027 Freightliner single axle plow truck.
Amber, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Additional appropriations. You budgeted the money last year,
Yes.
and this year you're just asking for that same money to be appropriated. Is that correct?
What do you mean for 2025 or 26?
26.
26. So in our budget, we had set forth $305,000, and that was based on the budget that we knew that we were going to get in 2026. We did have some additional funding in that fund, in the equipment fund. And it's our 1169 fund. It's our LRS fund line. So that was some of the money that we just didn't get spent in 2025. It just kind of rolled over. So we'd like to actually appropriate that for equipment. So, yeah.
I just wanted everybody to understand.
Yes. Yes. So our normal appropriation for 26 was $305,000. But that's not quite enough to be able to purchase that mower and that single axle, and then have a little extra room for more purchases, so, yeah.
You said this is a 2027.
It's a 2027 model, but we're actually gonna get it at the end of this year, so.
So do you have a delivery date, you think?
If we give the go-ahead, then we should get it in between the third and fourth quarter of this year, so. We were given the same parameters last year, and it kind of floated into '26, so we're hoping that everything is good, and we'll actually get it in '26. That's the plan.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that motion is approved. Single axle Freightliner.
All right, thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you. Next up will be our treasurer, Christy Branch. Christy?
I am presenting the services agreement between L&D Mailmasters and Howard County, which we spoke about in January. And I've got the true estimate at this point. But L&D Mailmasters is the company we've utilized for the last 6 years to print and mail out all of our bills, our tax bills. The postage is an estimated fee due before the printing process begins, which is the $20,000. The final cost will be determined once the actual bills are completed and mailed out. My estimated date to mail out is April 7th this year. And the only thing that I did not attach, but because I received it on Friday, is the invoice for the postage.
That's a lot of postage.
Yeah, it's that way every year. It was actually more last year. It was over the $20,000. So if there is a difference, that will be included in, if there's a difference, that will be included in my final invoice, if there's additional postage that's necessary.
Alan, I take it you've had a chance to?
I certainly have, yes.
Questions or comments?
Nope.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the approval of this agreement. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This agreement is approved.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Thanks,
We
Chris.
have one for signatures.
I'll sign that. Did I put your middle initial wrong?
You did?
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
What is it?
Yes.
Thank you.
You have to take
We'll get a copy.
Thank you, Christie. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to do something a little different, and I wanted to kind of explain that we're having a citizen come up, going to do a request for ordinances. This would normally be covered under public comment, but I've agreed to let Mr. Simone come up and present what he has to present.
And I appreciate it, Jack.
Brad?
Brad Simone, Eastern Howard County, S-E-M-O-N.
Thank you
In
for
case anybody's
clarifying.
looked at this agenda. That's kind of hilarious, but whatever. So I'm here today because, well, I have I've come up with an idea for an ordinance, and I think it's pretty important because I think this actually gives the citizens of this county more protection from projects that we've learned as we went. How about that? Does that sound good? As we're learning as we go. So if I can approach you guys, I've got some information here that I'll go over with you, okay?
Sure.
So my ordinance is called an ordinance requiring notice and disclosure of agricultural land leases for public transparency. There's one for you, Mr. Bray.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Alan. I didn't leave you out this time, sir.
Thank you.
So I actually did write a whole ordinance here, so, I mean, Alan might be impressed with my work, but I just wanted to, I did highlight on that first page, the purpose and intent. So, because I want to be clear that I'm not trying to take away anybody's rights. I'm trying to protect rights at this point. And I don't care about financials either with this ordinance. So the purpose of this ordinance is to promote public transparency, inform land use planning and governmental awareness by requiring notification and disclosure of agricultural land lease agreements within Howard County. And this ordinance is intended to regulate notice and disclosure only and shall not be construed to regulate lease terms, prohibit lawful leases, or impair private contractual rights. Now, the reason I brought this up is because I've talked with a few of you, and we have learned a lot since this all started back in, for us, 2020, they said they talked to somebody in 2018. Irrelevant. The reason why now I've gained information over these years, this is information I didn't have when the BZA was approving special exception. Because maybe if I had this, we may not even been here, okay? So the next little packet there I got, this is actually one of the leases that was signed out there in Howard County, okay? And I just took one section out of it. It's like 50-something pages long, but this section right here is the waiver section, and it's 10.13 of that contract. And I highlighted it because it's very interesting what it says. It says the owner acknowledges that certain aspects inherent to the operation of the solar facilities may result in some nuisance, such as visual impacts, possible increased noise levels, possible glare, and other possible effects of electrical generation and transmission, including without limitation, potential interference with my radio, my TV, my telephone, my mobile phone, and my other electronic devices. And then on down it says, you see right there, it says, and the owner waives its right to object to such a nuisance. What about their neighbors? They didn't get the opportunity to say, I don't care about my TV reception, or they didn't get that opportunity. That's why I think this is important, that these leases, before they're even signed, you guys, like I said, I don't care about the financials in it. I just want you to see the language in there, that they are waiving their right to a nuisance. And us that live right next to, matter of fact, they're waiving their right to a nuisance that's not even gonna be built around their house. It's gonna be built around my house, and I didn't even get that option. We didn't have no public meeting that said, hey, you know, do people don't live here, that says it's a nuisance. Maybe we should ask them if they're okay with a nuisance. Because I know one time in this board right here, I think it was Mr. Wilson said that a nuisance is anything that's offensive to the senses. Well, it's not fair that somebody can sign a piece of paper, and that's my rights too. They just sign my rights away just by signing a damn contract without any input from my neighbors. So that's why I think it's important, and I'd like for you guys to really consider this. I mean, seriously. I know I'm not the favorite guy in the county right now, and that's okay. I mean, it doesn't bother me that a veteran never backs down anyways, right? When I signed up for the Navy back in 1987, I didn't say I was going to quit in 1993. No, my oath continues on until you put me in the ground. So I'm going to constantly always stand up for my rights, no matter what. And if it makes you guys mad, then I'm sorry, but
No, you're not.
it's in my blood, man. So, I mean, I was in the Navy anyways, and what's my last name? Seaman. Hey, I was Destiny, so.
I appreciate you bringing these, and it's very interesting. This is really, honestly, I don't see these leases for the landowners' leases and stuff, and so it's interesting to
None of us do, Jeff.
see this.
They're
And-
non-disclosures,
and
but.
I think you make a great point there that, you know, it says that they're gonna, they acknowledge that they're, you know, it's not gonna affect them, but there are neighbors and things of that nature. So I guess it's very interesting and something that we definitely need to look into. Obviously, Alan's gonna check these over and he's gonna give us legalities of all that, but I do appreciate it.
No, I'm trying to figure out the proper procedure.
Brad, your highlighted section here is you want to require notification and disclosure of land lease agreements. Is your intent to have notice before the leases are signed?
Yes, sir. Yeah, because that's what happened here was the leases were signed and that's what we were told. Guys, we can't, they've already signed these leases. We're kind of locked in. Well, let's protect our citizens. That's why this is to protect. I've already been sold out, right? But you guys, Rushville, people, right? It's approved. It can go. We need to start putting things in place to protect citizens because people aren't happy out there. I'm telling you, man, it's bad news because Mr. Lipinski's gonna run for commissioner, and I'm not sure how many votes he'll get from out there. Honestly, Jeff, and I'm not saying that to say it. I'm just, pointing this out.
I've said from the day I learned about these leases that I didn't think it was right that we as a county and county executives didn't know about this until they were already signed. I didn't like that. Now, and Alan will tell you, sometimes I do or say things that he tells me I can't do. And one part of our oath, that we said we would abide by the law. That's an oath we took. So we have to do that. What you're saying here is fundamentally, I agree with. We as county executives should have known about this before it ever happened, but we didn't. And yes, that's water under the bridge, and I told you, I like this, I want to explore this. I want to take this under advisement. I think we need to take it under advisement.
Well, I appreciate it, and like I said, maybe it's not an ordinance, Alan. All these terms and stuff, I didn't go to school to get that degree, but I know there's resolutions, we got ordinances, we got amendments. Whatever this fits into, how about that? I can be a little more
And
generalized.
that's why we hired a
Maybe not
full-time
necessarily an ordinance.
county attorney.
I'll look into it. It's interesting.
Well, I appreciate it. I really do, and like I said, I know I'm not everybody's favorite guy, but
Oh, you're mine, Brad, you're mine.
I'm your favorite. I
You
got
was
stepped
until you
up,
told me I
so
wasn't getting votes.
I'm gonna, hey, she's my next. I'm gonna be her favorite before it's all over. Watch.
I make a motion that we take this under advisement.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to take this under advisement. Before we vote on it, I want to say I appreciate your effort in looking at this.
I appreciate you giving me the time, honestly do. I know, like I said, I know I'm not everybody's favorite. I know I get under your skin. I know I'll text you. We all know I'll text you at 7 o'clock on a Saturday, but I appreciate you guys always coming back, talk to me, whatever, so. But I do appreciate you giving me this opportunity right here to present this. I really do. So, thanks, guys.
I have a motion on the floor and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll take this under advisement and we'll get with Alan and talk about this.
Thank you.
So, okay, thank you again. All right, that moves us on to claims and reports, salary claims.
$1,180,887.19.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. Payroll expense,
$1,180,887.19.
Motion to approve?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. Operating claims,
$873,584.08.
Move to approve.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. Do we have any claims to ratify?
None.
Do we have any monthly reports?
We have Weights and Measures Monthly Report, January 6th through February 15th, and we have County Treasurer's Monthly Report, month ending 12/31/2025.
We'll mark these as received. Do we have any grants?
None.
Okay, thank you, Madam Auditor. Mr. Wilson,
I have one matter. This is involving the Promise Wedding Venue. This is an agreement for widening of the roadway, by which Promise agrees to widen the roadway at their expense if it's necessary. Now, at this point, we're not sure if it's going to be necessary to widen this road. There may be wide enough in certain areas that we won't have to do that. But if it is widened, they'll have to pay for it. They'll have to make sure the drainage is okay and all that. Amber has looked at this, so she's good with this agreement. And they've signed it. We just need one signature from the commissioners if you want to approve that.
Okay.
I make the motion that we accept the agreement with, is it Promise, you said?
Yes.
Promise Wedding Venue, and allow Jack to sign on behalf of the commissioners.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this agreement is accepted.
And that's all I have this evening.
You want this back? You want
Yes,
to pass
please.
it?
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lipinski.
Well, I got several things on my list tonight. Number one being, we did hire a code enforcement and building inspector, Mr. Muncy. I told you that we would do that, so I just want you to hear that we hired a code enforcement and building inspector.
I might add, we got his first report and how comprehensive it was.
And second on my list is, I would like to make a motion that we support the jail in their request for nursing, 24-hour nursing, and an additional substance abuse counselor. We, at the last commissioners meeting, or the last council meeting, Mr. Dodd spoke on behalf of the commissioners and offered $30,000 of our opioid fund money for that project. So I would like to make a motion in that regard that we support it at the $30,000 level.
I'll second it.
And let me make this clear. This is a resolution, or is this just a motion?
It's just a motion.
Okay. So I have a motion to support offering the $30,000 in support of the nursing staff at the jail. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That motion is approved.
And then, I think Mr. Oliver Cleo asked at the last meeting about data centers. And I said, I made a statement that I knew nothing about a data center. So obviously, it's quite a bit in the news or on Facebook or social media or wherever you might look to see that. Honestly, I don't know much about if anything about a data center. I need to educate myself. I hear electricity costs would go up. I hear that water usage would go up, but I haven't had an opportunity or a chance to do that. So tonight, because of that, I would like to make a resolution that because of zoning, we can't just go to a moratorium, but it has to go through a resolution process. I will make a resolution that we begin that process for a moratorium of 6 months so that we can try to understand and educate ourselves in that regard.
I'll second that motion.
And before we move forward, I want to make people aware, this is county. This does not affect the city. We as commissioners do not have any say-so on what happens in the city. And I can speak for myself. I get a lot of phone calls about why aren't we doing things in the city to stop the rezoning? And I can reassure you that I've checked with Mr. Sheeline. This is the city that's doing the rezoning and the annexation, not the county. And I've done a lot of educating about county government versus city government. So what is being proposed is this affects the county, not the city. So with that being said, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That is accepted, and so we'll ask Mr. Wilson to start pursuing what we need to do with that.
And then lastly, I would like to speak a little bit about Ranger Solar. And I've got several emails, several texts, several pictures in the last week and a half about what Ranger's doing. I don't know anything about their private usage or what they're doing with the homeowners. I have no idea what's going on with that. But I will say the optics doesn't look good. It doesn't look positive or good of what they're doing, but they have not signed any road agreements with us, any drainage. And I think the commissioners have learned a lot from our first project that's currently in the process. And if someone thinks that those agreements would be the same, they're not, because each project's different. And the road use and the drainage and those will not be the same as the ones before. So I just don't like the optics of the way it looks. And at this point, that's where I'm at with that project. That's my comments on it.
I agree with Mr. Lipinski on Ranger. Without actually us seeing a contract, which we're not ever going to see, we've seen this one way after the fact, from Ranger, we won't know. Mr. Simone, we wouldn't know what's in the contract and what they can and can't do according to what the farmers signed. So that's my comment on that.
But what we do know, what's going on out there right now is on private property. That's what we do know. And just like your property, we can't tell you what to do on your property. So it is private property. We checked with our planning director, we checked with the attorney. Right now, that is private property. So, like it or not, believe it or not, it is private property. So, anything else?
Nope, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bragg?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Been a lot covered tonight. And I think I've said what I need to say about the difference between city government and county government. There is a big difference. I've worked both sides. I've worked in city government, I've worked in county government. And there is a big difference. I had a lot to learn when I come over to county government. So there is a difference. And I've answered a lot of phone calls, and I've appreciated the phone calls. And I hope people understand that there is that difference, and we're trying to explain it to people. And no, I can't tell the city or the city council what they need to do. I can't do that. But on the same token, they can't tell us either. So, but we all do need to work together, the city and the county. That's important as well. So, I will ask for public comments. It's a race.
It's all right. Just please closer.
Clay Oliver, 5768 West, 00 North South. I would like to maybe, if you would, explain, because people are going, well, how can you, the city, come along and take and annex county property? And, you know, it goes back to representation of county and city and so forth. There's a term that I saw that it's called ETJ, extraterrestrial jurisdiction. Basically has to do with, I think there's something about the city has, and Greg may be able to, you know, talk about this, but there's something about a 2-mile radius outside the incorporated area or the unincorporated area that the city can come along and annex like they are doing. But there's a lot of questions about, again, you know, how's that able to happen?
Well, I'm gonna ask Mr. Sheeline, is there light you can shed on that? I've not heard that term before, so.
And I don't know if you've heard that. Okay, yeah, okay.
Our office does not get involved with the annexation part. We look at the zoning aspects. That would probably be a TJ Rethlick question. He's the city attorney that is overseeing the annexation. But I will say that obviously, this is not the city annexing, this is landowners that are being asked to be annexed into the city. It's a voluntary annexation, whether people like it or not, it's a voluntary annexation. Other than that, I don't know anything about what Clee's talking about, sorry.
Yeah, I
I wish I had an
remember
answer,
that,
but I don't.
Well, I appreciate it. I mean, there was just something I happened to look up and see, you know how I look up things. But, yeah, I mean, I understand they talk about a voluntary annexation, and I think a lot of it is you dangle a carrot out there. And I know people that, you know, north of the Chrysler, the Stellantis, Star Plus, you know, years ago, they come out to talk to them, to see about that. So it may be a voluntary, but voluntary with the carrot, you know, that's my opinion. But anyway, I appreciate it. I mean, like I said, it was just something that back years ago, I think when it appeared to be when the city and, when the Plan Commission took over, and I don't know, you've been in here for a number of years, took over the Plan Commission of both entities, the city and the county, things changed there. There was a paperwork that was supposed to be filed with the recorder's office, and I don't know if, Alan, if you know anything about that, I may send you a request for that, but if you have anything, but I'm just curious. But like I said, you get a lot of comments about how they're able to do this because it's county, and like Greg said, you know, it's voluntary. So, but they can go, from my understanding, 2-mile radius outside the incorporated area to the unincorporated. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the 2-mile part. I'd have to look into that. But
Okay.
annexation's a creature of statute. State statute controls
Right,
what you can,
36,
you can't
7,
do.
4, 205.
So, and I know voluntary annexation, as Mr. Sheehan explained, the landowners are asking to be annexed.
Right,
In those
yeah.
cases, then, there's no remonstration or anything like that against it.
Well,
So
and
the
it's-
county can't stop that.
Right, and the zoning, I realize they're probably two different things, you know, but again, anyway, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Stan Oiler, Eastern Howard County. I know I had written a letter or a formal complaint about Ranger Solar. I have not gotten a response, and I'm assuming I will not get a response. But you say it's being constructed on private property. That's true. But I have knowledge that the landowner's not constructing it. So I guess my question is what do you consider construction? Because evidently Angie said Ranger's talking out of both sides of their mouth, because I have knowledge they're telling them that this is a construction start time, but then they're telling you it's not construction because they don't have all their ducks in a row. Have you had any conversations with Ranger Power?
I've had conversations with Ranger because I asked him about this fence. I called him and asked him, I want to know more about it. And I've also had conversation with one of the landowners who told me he has an attorney talking for him. I suggested he listen to the advice of his attorney. And apparently this attorney is doing a lot of talking for him. So I said, listen to the advice of your attorney. That's what I told him. So,
Well, because I have knowledge that, I didn't know you could start construction on part of it, but not the rest of it. And some were told that they can go ahead and plant crops for 2026. I just kind of feel like they're maybe holding somebody hostage, or maybe somebody that is not as willing to cooperate with
I'm
them.
not an attorney, But I would say building a fence is not the start of construction.
But on that same token, I would say, you say about holding them hostage, or, we have no input or I have no knowledge about their negotiations with these landowners. I don't.
Well, I guess, Jeff, my question to you is, what, if the landowner's not building this fence, then who is?
Just from the optics of it is that Ranger's doing it, but.
But I guess another thing, what I'm gonna say is, you said earlier, and I appreciate what you're doing with, the agreements and so on and so forth. But if they're gonna go ahead and jump in and start building a fence, and there's no repercussions, and there evidently, according to Alan, there is no expiration of a special exemption, you can put all the restrictions on them, you can. But I think they're just gonna bully right through you. I don't know if you guys have done any research on Ranger, but if you thought NG was hard to work with, you ought to see the different counties that have dealt with Ranger. I mean, they've just been terrible. And then I've got a question for Alan. Can you tell me where it is in the solar ordinance that it says that the solar ordinance takes precedence over any other zoning
It
ordinance?
doesn't say that in the solar ordinance. It's a matter of law, though. If you'll research the law, you'll find that's the case.
Can you email me that law?
You can pay me for that work?
You work
No.
for the county.
Yeah, I can tell you where.
I live in Howard County.
I can tell you where the law is.
I mean, you tell me where it's at, and I'd love to read it.
Sure.
So you don't think it's any violation of any construction?
I don't see how it could be a violation if it's on private property between the landowner and whoever's putting up the fence. How can that be a violation?
We have no road agreements, they're dragging mud all over the floor, all over the road.
We have nothing to even negotiate yet. How can that be a violation of an agreement if we don't have an agreement?
Okay.
I-
Well,
I'm happy to set and start negotiations on agreements, but I have nothing to negotiate.
okay, that's all I got.
Brad Simone, Eastern Howard County, SEMON. I'm gonna do that every time from now on. Let's see. First of all, I've made several comments over the past few commissioners' meetings about the monitoring of the project. And it's been brought to my attention that some people are taking offense to my comments. And I want to make sure that Mrs. Isaacs and Mrs. Toll, Mr. Sheeline, Mr. Lake, any other county, Mr. Dodd, Bray, and Lipinski, even Mr. Wilson, why not? That my comments were never directed towards any county employees. They've only been at BS&F, okay? The engineering firm hired by NG. I don't think if they're being paid by them, they're not really gonna do a great job. And I know I've been told by Mrs. Isaacs that they're doing a fantastic job. I don't know that. I'm not at the meetings, and I don't even know if they're open to the public when they do their little things or not. I would love to go and listen to one sometime, but that's that one. Number two, if you would like a copy of the infamous Ranger lease agreement, a redacted version, all the information has been redacted. If you'd like to see that, I have it. And I'd be more than willing to give you a copy. So I don't know if that's up to the attorney or.
I don't think we can ask for that, can we?
You can't ask for it, but I can give it to you. All right? You didn't ask, I just gave it to you. So I'll just give you. I'll make sure I have copies for y'all next time. And I had one other thing, third. I don't remember what it was. That one slipped my mind. I had three. That was a lot for this. But now I'll take the two, so that's all I have. So again, I apologize to you, and you, and you, you guys, you ladies, Greg Lake, if he's in here, for that. I never intended, those comments were not directed at the county employees whatsoever, so I do apologize. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Brad.
Stan Oiler, Eastern Howard County. I was in last week or week before and was told that the battery energy storage ordinance was close. Do we have any information on that? When that's going to be released or out for evaluation?
Well, as you know, I've told you several times, before it's finished, we will send a draft out to all the fire chiefs for you guys' input, and we will. So it's close. But before it goes out to anyone else, we'll send it to the fire chiefs.
Well, the reason I'm asking is we have a County Chiefs Association meeting Wednesday evening. And I think Wednesday evening,
This week?
yes. And I think it would be good that we could go over that together while we're there.
Okay, let me talk to Alan and these two gentlemen, and see what we can do.
Thank you.
You've had
You
your
remember-
chance.
Sorry, I had one more thing too. Well, he's segued in. With the BES ordinance, I know will there also be a public comment time like there was with the solar ordinance, a 10-day window to allow emails to come in about battery storage and all that jive again?
I
Just
would
curious.
like- I would like to see that, yes.
Yeah, I think the public would too. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to get me involved, Jack. And I'm like, nope, this is your baby, but here's some info and here's some ammunition and here's meeting dates and times, so.
Thank you, Brad. Anything else, Brad? Any other public comments? We try to have a good time up here.
Move to adjourn.
Seeing none, hearing none, have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
We stand.